tuning into another edition of Master the Ceremony, where we spotlight top companies in the industry. Today we're here with Steve Moody of Steve Moody's Entertainment Connection. Thank you for joining us. And tell us a little bit about your company and the type of events that you do and what you cater to.
Sure, we're a small multi-system service, and we're in Maryland. And we do a lot of couples that are coming in for destination weddings on Maryland's Eastern Shore. So a lot of the waterfront properties that have mansions or they have, hotels closer to the waterfront. That's where we do the majority of our work. And it's usually upscale wedding receptions is the clientele that we have.
Okay. And I understand that you've been in the business for over 20 years, so you're obviously doing something right. What is it that you do that sets yourself apart, and how have you grown?
I think how have I grown? One of the biggest things was starting as a single op. I started, just as a kid, 14 years old. I was out doing events all the time, maybe 3 or 4 times a month. And in high school, that's a big deal. You're the DJ in high school, you do 3 or 4
You're making some money.
Yes. I mean, you're living at home and making money. And then in college, went up to doing like maybe 2 or 3 nights a week where I had different events during the week. And so again, living at home, no expenses. What a great way to live. As I got older, went into college, decided that I wanted to get into radio broadcasting. So I got into radio, got on the air for a few years at local stations in the Baltimore area. And then that, I think, got the name around locally, and that got me started to do the types of events that I'm doing now. And, I was doing that until about 2007 was the first time that I even really heard about that there were conventions and there were seminars and workshops that you could go to for our industry.
Who knew?
Who knew? I had no idea. And I mean, I had read some magazines and I read some articles, but I just thought, well, maybe that's not for me. But when I finally came here and saw what was available to me, the education, and then also networking with the other professionals, it's just amazing. I've learned so much in the past 5 years, more than the first 15 years leading up to that.
And how has that enhanced your business?
Oh my gosh, so I've learned so much about the business side of things. I'd always focused on performance. And yes, there's seminars that come to for performance, but learning about, what is a great marketing campaign and how to get one started and how to close a sale and how to bring new team members in to expand your service. Just 2 years ago, we decided we were going to become this multi-system service, and just a whole different ballgame for me because I'd always done everything myself. Everything relied on me for every event. And so learning how to delegate authority is
You need some help.
Yeah, the stress level was through the roof the first year, and it's getting better. I'm still I'm a control freak, so I'm still working on it, but that's part of it.
Hey, growing's the process. So if you had any tips for our viewers, if you could pick one key tip on how you set yourself apart, what would it be?
I would say that the biggest tip is learning how to communicate to people and learning more about people. I read a great book years ago called The Platinum Rule by Tony Alessandra and Michael O'Connor. And the book not only helped me learn to communicate better with prospective clients in order to close sales, but it's also helped me to communicate better with local venues and the management at venues. And so we've gotten up to the top of the preferred vendors list at local venues. It's helped me to communicate better with other DJs. We're all wired very differently inside. And the book kind of breaks it down into 4 different categories of the different types of people that you might come into contact with and how to alter your approach. Not everybody is outgoing like me and loves to have a good time and is really fun and upbeat, and some people are more serious. And well, how do I change my approach to those kind of people? And I think that has been one of the most beneficial things I've ever done was to read that book.
In terms of, you obviously cater to your clients. What are some things that your company offers to be able to meet the needs of your clients?
Sure. With the weddings, obviously the folks are asking for lightscaping. Friend Jason Janai up in New Jersey kind of coined that term for us, lightscaping. So we do a lot.
Oh, I've never heard that one.
You've never heard?
I haven't. Can you explain it to me?
Well, you've got landscaping outside, and so with our uplighting around the room, he just coined the term lightscaping a few years ago. He owns SCE Event Crew, and they just do an amazing job. I've learned a lot from them too, and we've started doing that in the past few years. We've able to do any color that the folks want. Initially when we first started, we were using old par cans and just putting gels on them, but then you get with a company like CHAUVET and you learn a little bit more about, there's
changes the ball game.
Yes, it does. And you've learned about, before I couldn't tell you the difference from RGB, LED, and DRS. I had no idea of what any of these things meant. And just to learn a little bit more about the technical aspect of the industry too has been amazing for me. So now we can offer them so many things we couldn't before with the uplighting. The photo booths have been really big in the past few years, and so we've started to offer photo booth as well. And it's opened us up to be able to do a lot more than we could ever do before for anybody. And so we've gotten new clients, and like I said, with the venues, they've been able to recommend us more because we offer more than most of the other local folks in our market.
Well, thank you for joining us, Steve, and thank you for the great advice. Thanks for tuning in to another edition. We'll see you next time.